it's Shawnee. Welcome back. So I'm just throwing it back and using one of the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Mega palettes. This one is Celestial Divinity. And I think this is a good sort of transitioning into fall palette. You've got the bright colors, but they're more like jewel tone, and then some of the brownish reddish shades going on. So I figured I would try to do something with this palette. So I am going to get started by first using my paint base, eyeshadow base from Colored Rain in the shade Wheat. So I have been sick, and I have been tired, and I have been sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? But I had the urge to just get up and do something with the day. So this is what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, so I just want a brush to put this on, and I have this Sydney Grace brush sitting right next to me. So I'm gonna go in with that, and just taking this brush to pat the primer on my eyelid. This is just a regular old brush. I got it at the initial release of Sydney Grace brushes. And they're okay, they've held up over the years. I think it's been years now since they've been out. But not my top synthetic hair brushes or whatevs. So just putting that on. Yeah, this feels, I'm waiting for this to break. So either I will glue it back on or, toss it. It's done its job. But so far it's holding on. Okay, so got the primer on. Let's see what shade I want to use. Okay, kind of drawn to the purple. That is the shade Violet Vixen. Wow. Okay, yeah, let's start with that. Just wiping my brush off. Okay, taking this E29 from Rose and Ben. Oh, I said purple. Or violet, whatever. Tapping into that shade, and then I'm going to start placing it here at the outer area of my eyelid. Cute, cute. I was in my office in DC at the end of the week. Came out of my office, was heading to Krispy Kreme, because it's right there, right next door. And looked to my right, and it's the National Guard. Look behind me, and it's ICE in an unmarked van. It's like, wow, huh, there it is. There's our world. Crazy. It was crazy. But I went ahead and got my chocolate iced glazed donuts and went about my business. What's your favorite donut? Because if I go to Krispy Kreme, I really like the chocolate iced glaze. I feel like it gives it a bit more of something than just the regular glazed. The regular glaze, you could just eat it too fast. I feel like the chocolate iced glaze, you can savor it a little bit. Spend time with it. Speaking of spending time, there's this story about this anesthesiologist. Now, let me tell you something. Anesthesiologists are real important, okay? Of course, your surgeon is important, but the anesthesiologist stays there the entire surgery to make sure your behind don't wake up. And still, sometimes people be waking up. Anyway, I was reading this story. Apparently, this anesthesiologist, he had applied for a new job or something. So I guess when they were going back and maybe getting referrals, I don't know, they found out that he got some kind of reprimand, okay? Because he didn't, how do you, so he was in the operating room doing his job, right? Then he steps away and he's gone for 8 minutes. They made sure to let us know it was 8 minutes. And he was found because this other nurse was going into the like supply utility closet or something to get something. And she came upon Dr. Anesthesiologist getting very familiar with a nurse. Like they were having sex in the closet, the utility closet, like sex with one another, with each other at the same time. And so I think he goes back to the operating room, which I'm like, ew, I hope you scrubbed yourself down. Ugh. And they asked him, like, what was you doing, buddy? And he was like, I've just been under a lot of stress and I needed some, you know, some stress relief because me and my wife just had a baby and, you know, that's like really stressful. Girl, goodbye. What if you found out that that was your anesthesiologist that walked out of your surgery to go get him some? Listen, if it was only 8 minutes, sir, you could have waited, okay? You could have waited. Because it, like, first of all, it had to take you some time to get to the closet. It had to take you some time to disrobe, do what you had to do, put your clothes back on, and walk back to the operating room. 8 minutes? I mean, maybe you should have stayed. And just, you know. What shade do I want to go into next? I really don't know, but I'm feeling called to this blue that's right next to it. That would be Venusian Peony, I think. I don't know. You know, when on the back it's like not lined up with the thing. Is that even? That might not have even been. No, that's Aquarian Dream. Who knows what the hell I'm talking about? Okay, I think I'll go in with that shimmer. Just gonna put it on my finger. You can see it there. So yeah, like this came out, I guess, because he was applying for another job. I don't know if it got in the way of him getting the job. I mean, but I wouldn't be able to trust. I would like, I need to trust that you're going to be available. Like, didn't nobody ask him where he was going? Can you just pop out and be like, I'll be right back? I mean, I assume, I guess if you have to like pee or something, you can go, but you don't have nobody else that can like tap in while you're gone? How does that actually work? What if a surgeon has to like pee in the middle of this like really serious operation? First I'm like, hold it. But then I'm like, you know, but then you're going to be thinking about holding it. I don't want you to get like a urinary tract infection or nothing. But also, I just need you to do what you need to do in terms of sewing me up. Carving me open, taking out whatever needs to, putting in whatever needs to, and like sewing me back up. So maybe just use the bathroom beforehand? How does that work though? For real, I wonder. Huh. I'm gonna have to look that up. If somebody knows, like, what happens if you need to use a bathroom but you're performing surgery? There has to be some sort of protocol. But then you'd have to like scrub back in. That's what I wondered. Did he scrub back in or did he just hop his happy-go-lucky ass right back into the OR? Like, I'm not okay with it, sir. Like, imagine finding out you were that patient. Imagine finding out. You'd be like, that was 4 o'clock on the 12th. That's when I was having my surgery. I'd be a little verklempt. Like, I mean, I guess you can't, like, everything went fine, right? Hopefully. So I guess you couldn't really sue for anything. I don't even know. Like, what would you sue for? Like the thought of the possibility that he could have messed up or something? I don't know. But how did they even come up with this rendezvous point? How did that, okay, was she also in the surgery room, the operating room? Because did he just go to the nurse's station and be like, hey, does anybody want to help me real quick in the utility closet? I don't know. How you plan this? That's, something ain't right. I don't understand. I don't understand the logistics. I don't understand the logistics. Like, I'm all for helping a colleague, but not that much, you know? No. Ew. Gross. Okay. So I think I want to use like some kind of shade kind of at the top. So I'm either going to go into that lighter purple or this pinky shade here. So this is Venusian Peony, I think. And this is Eternal Amour. Yeah, Eternal Amour. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into the purple. I'm going to put it right here above where I put the darker purple. Boom. I don't know what people be thinking. Which leads me to yet another story I read. You know, all of those like romance scams where a lot of times the elderly are being contacted and, you know, you're lonely and getting up there in age and people don't care. And the person just like woos you and they're like, you're the most awesome person. I would love to visit you. You know, I love you. Unlike your bratty ass kids and grandkids. You know what I'm saying? And so there was the most recent one, because remember there was the one where the lady thought she was talking to Mark Anthony. The other where the lady thought she was talking to Brad Pitt. And then the one where the guy wanted to divorce his wife to be with his AI girlfriend. Like, there's a whole bunch of things, right? So this woman, older woman, she falls prey to one of these scams. Now, when I read the scam, because oftentimes I'm just like, okay, let me see if I can put myself in this person's shoes, and would that happen to me, maybe, from my clear-headed, stable-ish mental state right now. And I just don't think Mark Anthony, Brad Pitt, they're not going to contact me. They're not going to. And even if they did, they're not going to try to get with me, girl. And furthermore, catch them trying to ask me for money. I ain't like Brad. All in movies you done did, Brad. Child, Mark Anthony, go ahead and sing your ass on that stage. Ain't nobody asking me for no money like that, right? So I just feel like I wouldn't be caught unawares. I hope not. I hope that in my old age that I don't forget who I am and be like, of course Brad Pitt would be trying to talk to me. I don't think that would happen though. No shade to myself. I'm just like, Brad Pitt is not trying to contact me. Anyway, this lady, it wasn't a you know, movie or singing star. It was just a regular old person who's supposed to be an astronaut. Now here's the thing. This astronaut said that he was stuck up in space. Like, remember those two people who were stuck up in space for 9 months or whatever, and NASA was like, they weren't stuck. They could have come home at any time. So he apparently stuck in space, and he let her know that he's running out of oxygen. And he needs some oxygen real bad, because you need oxygen when you are up in the cosmos. This man scammed this woman out of money. She sent him money thinking she was helping him get some oxygen. Now, I do wonder if there is any sort of cognitive decline with this woman, because it seems really far-fetched when you sit down and think about it, because, like, So you gonna contact me on Earth, you know, supposedly you in space. You gonna contact me and tell me that you need oxygen when you have a whole NASA department behind you? Like, they don't have backup oxygen they be sending you. Why are you using your last breath to contact me? I mean, I feel like there were a lot more people that you could contact. A lot more people who have access to bottles of oxygen or tanks of it. I don't know. How do you even... No, that's too scientific for my brain capabilities. But this makes no sense. Like, when you not even when you step back, when you just are, it makes no sense. But if you step back and you're like, you need oxygen? Like, who are you? Like, do they advertise when people are going up in space? Even still, like, why are you calling me? Like, this is an emergency, call 911, okay? This is beyond my purview. Like, I am not skilled enough for this. I'm not. Don't call me for this. None of us have sense because you are calling me, supposedly, because you can't get off the planet? I don't even know. And I'm sending you the money to get you off the planet, the star, the whatever it is that you are on. I'm gonna go into this shade here. Is that it? No, this shade here. Put that in the inner corner. What shade is that? Lunar Lavender. So I feel bad for this lady because, you know, when you're in something, it makes complete sense, right? You're just like, yeah, that totally makes sense. But when you're out of it and you take a step back and you really think about it, you're just like, that made absolutely no sense. Like, no, none whatsoever, actually. But I feel like that's real brazen and bold. Because that person had to have known that this woman had some sort of, like, cognitive or mental health issue, right? Because you're not going to tell a relatively healthy brained person that that's what you need. It really gets on my nerves though, because I get so many texts of people talking about, oh, I'm so sorry, it's the wrong number. I'm Lucy. Girl, if you don't stop playing on my phone. But now I've started interacting with people. I'm like, hey girl, child, it's the right number, it's Megan. And then I just go off on a whole thing to confuse them. It's a lot of fun. But I just find it so despicable that people are out here just like taking advantage of folks. Ugh. I don't like that mess. I mean, I guess nobody does, but you got this lady, I don't even know, man. I feel like the oxygen one would have been where I would be like, wait a minute. Like, you making me look like a clown. Like, straight up boo-boo the fool. People just be taking advantage. And partly I get it. Listen, in this current climate, I don't know. Maybe we all need to be taking advantage of somebody. I don't know. But another lady that was taking advantage of the system is this teacher. You know, shout out to the educators, because I couldn't do what you do. I've taught at the undergrad and graduate level, and I assume that that's very similar to teaching little kids. And just no. Like, I don't like it. No. I don't get joy from it, okay? I don't like these kids staring at me all blank-faced when I ask a question. I don't enjoy it. Anyway, this lady, teacher, but she's been off on sick leave. Here's the thing though. This woman has been on sick leave since 2009. Full paid sick leave since 2009. Like 16 years or whatever. Do the math. I don't know. And so I guess a new administration or whatever came into the school system, and you know, they're looking over things or whatever, and they noticed she been on sick leave for a long time. Like almost 2 decades. Girl, retire, I guess. And we're paying her. And so I guess they contact her and they're like, we need, you know, medical letter or something saying that you need to still be on sick leave. And apparently they said that she started some kind of like medical startup during her sick leave, but she's real upset that they want her to like prove, I guess, that she needs to be on paid sick leave. I'm like, girl, I understand, you know, take advantage of the system, let it work in your favor for your benefit, but come on, this is going too far. Teachers already don't make no money, and you're sitting there taking money away, the pennies they will be throwing at another teacher. Like, at some point, it's just like, you know, cut the con, girl. Just let it go. And you have full-on nerve talking about you gonna start a medical startup? So what kind of sick are you? Not sick enough. I've had to write like the medical stuff for people to get like disability or FMLA and all that stuff. And from what I can recall, oftentimes things need to be renewed, reevaluated, all that jazz. But she been slipping through the cracks. How's that even how that even happen, girl? How you do that? I guess she was just like, well, ain't nobody saying nothing, so. And they didn't notice. Talk about needing our school system to be like revamped. How they didn't notice? How you ain't notice? The like accounts payable people didn't know. Well, I guess not, right? It don't say it on your account, like on sick leave for almost 2 decades. It don't say that. I don't know. Okay, as I do the rest of my face, I'm going to play around and ask some have I ever questions. So I do need a primer, and I think I'm just going to go in with this Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Glowy Primer. And while I prep my face, let's start with the questions. Have you ever broken a bone? No, actually, I have not broken a bone. Yeah. I mean, I've had other injuries, but I have not broken a bone. Never had to wear a cast or anything, or have people sign the cast. So no. Have I ever set a Google alert for myself? No. I have Googled myself though. You know, just to see what's out there. Well, not bad, you know. Knock on wood for both of these things. Yeah, I have Googled myself. I haven't set an alert. That feels a step too far. We're going to go in with this KVD Good Apple Foundation in the shade Deep 84. I did order another shade of the Haus Labs Foundation, and I did order the spray from Danessa Myricks. I'm going to go into this sponge that I was just using a bit ago. Okay. And tap it into the foundation, and now I'm just putting the foundation on my face. Have I ever traveled solo? Yes, I have. Like I'm usually going to someone, but I've traveled places by myself. And I learned this summer when I went on vacation with my brother that he has not really, mostly all of his travel, like, other people are planning it. Like, he just, you tell him the day and time and he'll show up, you know? But I realized that in, like, trying to figure out the plans with getting together with other groups of people, and I was like, okay, lesson learned. Never ask my brother to do the planning part. Oh my God, this person's car, horn, honk, alarm has been going off for hours. So yes, I have traveled solo. I'm okay with it. But that's been like within the continental U.S. I have not done so outside of the U.S., but I think I would be fine to do it. Child, at this point though, either we all gonna have to pack up and move back to our motherlands or so, or ain't nobody want us. Don't nobody want these American people in their country. Anyway, have I ever seen a ghost? Yes. I think I saw one for real. I was in high school and we would go to this retreat called Kairos, and you go away for like 4 days up in the woods somewhere, and it's just really a time of meditating, connecting with other people, connecting with yourself, your spirituality, blah blah blah. And so I went, and then I was a leader for, it's longest story anyway. So I was going back to my room once, and I think we were in like a nun's, it wasn't a nunnery or whatever. What are those places? A convent. Or maybe it was. I don't know. But I'm walking down the hall. It's a long old hall. Like in all the scary movies where it seems like the hall is just getting longer and longer and longer. I'm walking down the hall and I see this apparition in white. Now I'm trying to recall if I had my glasses on. Because if I did not, then we just have to null and void this discussion. But I swear that I saw something just floating down the hall. It wasn't looking to bother me or nothing. It was just like letting its presence be known. So I'm pretty sure I did. And I kind of think there are other things in this plane of Earth, cosmos, world that we're in. And I just try to make everybody feel nice and good and not like, you know, just everybody have their space, good vibes here only. All right, so that is down, and I'm going to go in with this concealer from Haus Labs in 42 Medium Deep. Have I ever egged someone's house? I have not. Listen, ain't nobody wasting food over here. Back in the day, girl, I wish you would take some eggs out this fridge and go throw it at somebody's house. Please. And now, the price of eggs that everybody was... Anyway. I don't have time to be wasting food like that. No, I'm not throwing food at nobody unless I'm throwing it into their mouth. Like, don't waste... Nobody have time to be wasting groceries like that. Are you kidding me? Throwing no egg on nobody's door. Have y'all done that? I have never egged a house. I don't know if they're going to ask, but I've also never toilet papered a house because that sounds like real rich people stuff, okay? So you have money to burn. You have money to burn if you're going to be throwing eggs and toilet paper on somebody's house. You have money to burn. So I went in with the concealer in the inner area of my eye as well as on the outer area, kind of where the, not foundation, the eyeshadow kind of ends. Right here in my forehead area, on the nose, mouth, or upper lip bridge, whatever, okay? And the chin, just kind of this whole line here, give it kind of a glow. While that marinates just a little, I'm going to go in with my brow gel from Benefit, just going over the brows. Just a little. Gotta end soon. My voice is going. My voice is my moneymaker because I'm a therapist and we kind of gotta talk. So I'm sure that's how like all of the opera singers feel. Have I ever laughed so hard that I spit out my drink? Probably. I know I've laughed so hard that I've like choked, that I have snorted. I'm a snorter of, like, I don't snort stuff, but I sometimes snort when I laughed. Whatever. I've laughed until I've cried. I've laughed until like I can't breathe. So chances are I probably have laughed until I spit something out my mouth. That sounds so dirty. Until I've spit out my drink. Have I ever pretended to be someone I'm not? No. I think the only thing I have done or will do is when I go to like a coffee shop and they ask for a name, I don't always give my name, my full name, because I'm just like, it's going to take you so long to write that down. So I just might give a shortened name, but then I got to remember what name I gave them. They'll be like, Shannon, Amber. I'm like, Amber, your drink is ready. That actually happened to me the other day. The guy next to me was like, I think your drink's ready. I'm like, oh, my bad. I forgot what name I gave her. But I've never pretended to be someone else. I don't think. That's already a lot being me, let alone trying to be somebody else, child. Have I ever met a celebrity? Yeah, I have. I mean, first of all, Danessa Myricks, first of all. I also met Laverne Cox, took a picture with her. I met Angela Davis, which was like highlight of my life. Big civil rights person. Hopefully you know this. I met her. Ice-T. One of the actors from Charmed. It wasn't one of the main characters. Like, it was like the guy detective. Who else? I mean, I don't know who else would count, but, you know, I went to school with Meghan Markle. So I know her. There's gotta be other people. I'm sure there's other people famous. Have I ever sleepwalked? I feel like I've sleep stumbled. Or like, it's like I'm half sleep. I'm like going to fall asleep. And then I decide like I need to get up and go get some crackers or something. That's happened. That's when you take that stuff that they be prescribing you to go to sleep. This is the Pat McGrath Under Eye Setting Powder. Just setting under my eyes. And wherever I put the concealer, just a little bit. Have I ever read an entire book in a day? Yes, I have. Read like a paper book as well as listened on Audible. I never thought I would be like an audiobook person, but I have just really gotten into it. I think especially since, you know, we're probably all going to be up in our consumption of literature since we're not going to be watching anything that has to do with Disney. Yeah, you know. So many things to boycott these days. Oh, this is the Colored Rain bronzer in the shade Naughty Spice. Really sucks that this brand is no longer around. But I'm going to still use my products. Sure. And I used the Rosenben C40 bronzer brush to put that on. And I have no clue where my blushes are. My powder blushes. They're somewhere, girl. But in any case, I will just use one of my Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Flushed. This is Rosé and Brunch. And I need a brush. Okay. Have I ever gone to a party I wasn't invited to? No, I've been invited to every party. Now, have I ever not gone to a party I've been invited to? Yes. But no, I'm not gonna just show up at somebody's party. Like, if you don't want me there, then I'm not coming, okay? But no, I've never, like, I've never crashed a party. I'm the life of the party, okay? So, that's weird. Who be doing that? Oh my god, that makes me think of that movie, Wedding Crashers. Who, like, does that? If it's just a party where it's like, hey, everybody come, I can see people doing that, but don't come to something in which you need an invitation, you know? So, I have these two things from Danessa Myricks that I have not used in a while. They're called her Duet Balms. I don't even really see anybody with these. This is going to be a, like, am I going to keep these kind of thing. This is the Rose Water one. And then, no, I'm sorry. This is Hot Water. And then this one is Rose Water. Okay. Goodness. So they're very sticky. But I'm trying to figure out because it's supposed to be giving you like that dewy look. But maybe you're not supposed to use it with product underneath. Let me think. I mean, it's called a highlighting face and body balm. Okay, so yeah, it's just like a balm. So what I'm going to do is, as I blend this out more, I'm going to put this on top, the rose water one. So you're supposed to use your finger, and you know what? I wonder if the lowlighters came about to replace these. There are only like 3 shades, I think, and it doesn't even look like they're available anymore. Am I glowing? Am I dewy? Do I look dewy? Super dewy. Okay. So I'm gonna finish off everything. I'm going to do mascara, and then I believe I may do a wing liner. I feel like I haven't done one in a while. Okay, and the last question is, have I ever stayed up all night? Yes, I have. But it's been more recent, like in the past few years. I never did all-nighters or whatever in school because I was just like, I can get my work done. You know, I think there was once where I stayed up because I was trying to save something on my computer and my computer crashed. And I was like, oh my God, I have to write that 10-page paper over. So I stayed up and did that. But otherwise, girl, I was like, I don't pull all-nighters, but as I have aged and my stress level has increased and my mental health has decreased, I have found myself staying up all night doing nothing, staring, contemplating, doing absolutely nothing, and then being like, oh my gosh, 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I don't recommend it, because lack of sleep is like the equivalent to being drunk. You shouldn't be operating things if you have a lack of sleep. Also, it's really not good for people who have seizures. Okay. Let me see where any of my liquid eyeliners are. Let's get this one. Oh, this gives you black. But let's try this. This is from Sephora. This is a Sephora liner. And I haven't used one like this in a while. See that? Hey, Rose. Okay, let me do the other side. And then I guess I'll just like pop on some lashes and take my hair down, and that'll be it. And a lip and all that. But you don't need to see all the rest of it, right? Okay. So here's the finished look. I went ahead and used the Rose Water Dew Wet Balm as my lip product with just a little bit of lip liner. And I continue to love this palette, the Celestial Nirvana palette. Definitely let me know if you have it. I find that it continues to perform well. I like the mix of colors. And yeah, this isn't even the look that I had in mind. But when does that ever happen? Anyway, hopefully some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself. I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.